Welcome. You have reached the review of Season 2, Episode 6, Snowfall, titled The Offer. Let's get into it. So, this is a good episode. Storyline starting to fill in, little action starting to pick up. I like the way it's going so far. So, it's picking up right where it left off of last week. Lucia and Gustavo met up with the goons, Mexican goons, who helped Lucia kill her uncle. But those goons, they don't really respect Lucia and Gustavo. They just know they got to connect to the drugs. And they know they don't got much of an army or a team. However, LaFluza, who is like the overseer of them goons, she sent them there to pick up the product. Of course, things went left and they got killed. So LaFluza wants to meet with Lucia and Gustavo. But before that meet, Pedro and his girl, which is the DEA agent, they was basically like, we'll stay here with y'all. And they was like, nah, it wouldn't look right. So they left. And in the process of them leaving, then LaFluza comes in. LaFluza is basically saying like, where are my men at? They came here with the money. And they said, well, they probably basically ran off, probably in Vegas somewhere or whatever. And then guns was drawn, and LaFluza basically said, everybody calm down, get out, let me talk to her. So she's talking to Lucille, basically telling Lucille, like, I know you want to be a woman in power, you want to call the shots, you don't want to work for nobody. And she's like, I respect that, but, there's some things you got to follow. So she can already see that Lucille's lying. So she grabbed Lucille, and when she grabbed her, she touched the wound that Lucille had from her getting shot from the Mexican goons, and she dug into the wound. And as soon as she dug into the wound, Lucille confessed that, the men came at them, they had to do what they had to do, and basically begged her for her life, basically saying, listen, we'll give you $250,000 or whatever. And LaFluza's pretty much saying she's not with that. That ain't enough money. So she's basically said to her, well, what about like $1.5 million? And she's telling her that ain't enough money. So Lucille pretty much wrote a check that she can't cash by saying, I get you the ingredients to the product. And LaFluza pretty much at that point, that intrigued her because she know this is the beginning of the crack epidemic. So they were, them having that agreement, they can start their own empire. They don't need Franklin, he's not the only one with the ingredients to make the product, but he's the one in their region that has the ingredients. So she told Lucille she'd give her a few days. So Lucille pretty much needed to get with Gustavo, telling Gustavo like, yo, we need to figure out how we can get that ingredient. So we need to set a date with Franklin, a meet with Franklin. Meanwhile, Franklin and his boy, they're going over how business is being ran and everything like that. And the social worker woman that serviced Franklin's father came looking for Franklin. Now, this is tricky because she knew exactly where to find Franklin and knew exactly what he was doing in the ice cream truck. So that's like his storefront. And to most people that's watching this now in 2018, they look at that, man, that's like the dumbest move. But see, back during the time of the setting of this show, that was the early stages of the crack epidemic. So the law wasn't up on it as strong as they would be now. So they wasn't up on it like that. So that's why you seeing things in this show that they're getting away with certain things or whatever. So from there, she was basically telling that his father, he need to find his father, some papers that he need to fill out, and also that he has some law. I mean, the cops is pretty much pressing charges on him for when they found him and beat him down and stuff like that. So he pretty much is standoffish, like forget his dad. She telling him no, that's still your dad, and he like, well, you need to get him a lawyer. And she like, well, you need to get him a lawyer. So from there, it transfers to Teddy and Matt out in South America or Panama, where they was at, meeting with the guy for the distribution of the guns. So in the process of doing that, Matt and Javi go upstairs and they go to party. Of course, Teddy's always on his business, so he branched off and he met with a woman. I think she's running his undercover sting that he got going on. So she's looking over everything, and she's noticing that the money that he's bringing in is not as much as it used to be, and he's pretty much like, I'm still willing to do whatever. So she has some burn marks, or she got something on her, and she got to get treatment for that. So that was that meeting. When he goes upstairs, they're having basically a freak session. Javi getting freaked off. He getting a massage. Girl on his back. Matt's in the room. He getting a freak session going on. So Teddy knocks on the door, pretty much like, yo, let me holler at you. So Matt comes out, you know what I'm saying, and he's basically telling them, yo, y'all was set up. So, and he like, what you mean we set up? And he like, yo, he like, when we came in, these girls was here. He's like, yeah. So basically what they doing is, if you ain't who you say you are, they really filming y'all. And so if you run for mayor or run for whatever, you know, they have this ransom. They have this ransom footage of you getting freaky and all that. So or whatever. So that wasn't Matt felt like, oh man, I need to get out of here then. But then Teddy pretty much told him like, yo, you know, you might as well enjoy yourself now and finish. So after that, Teddy went back to the bar. Matt, eventually came down. He finished. He felt a little weird, but that was that. So from there, you had Franklin. Franklin, back when Franklin went to a special school, he stayed with a family. That's how he got, his white friend that's selling for him out in the valley. The product that Franklin gave him, his dad found and took the product. So he showed up to the house fidgety, and they like, yo, you got jacked. And he like, nah, I ain't get jacked, but I handle it. So Franklin's uncle and D-Ray's character, I keep forgetting what his name, Peaches, I think his name, something like that. His character, like, nah, we gonna go see what's up. So when they go, Franklin comes in and he tells them. So they show up to the crib. Excuse me. And I think Franklin's the white friend is Peanut or something like that. So he shows up and he's basically confronting the father like, yo man, you got my coat. Now the dads are like a porn star director. So at the time they barge in, he's actually producing gay porn. So that was weird or whatever. And they was all freaked out about it. So the dad pretty much said like the product is gone. And he like try to bring up that he took Franklin in and try and go down this guilt trip or whatever. But Franklin wasn't trying to hear that. So the uncle wasn't trying to hear that either. So he told the son to smack the dad, and he smacked him. This is his dad, so he didn't go real hard on him. So the uncle just came in. He just went a little ape on him, smacked him around, and then the son jumped in like, "Hey, that's my dad. I can't let you just whatever." So Franklin was like, "All right, chill," and he said pretty much peanut good for it. He gonna work it off or whatever he gonna do to get him back in good graces. So they stepped off from there. Franklin made word in the city to find out where his dad was. He found that his dad was working at the old liquor store he used to work for, and he got the girl there, that the social worker woman, so that the dad could sign the papers, and he also got paid a retainer so his dad could get a lawyer or whatever. So even though he has ill will for his father, he's still helping him in his low point in his life. Meanwhile, Lucille and Gustavo, they made the attempt to link up with Franklin to told Franklin they give him $250,000, and they tell him where he can kill the person that killed his workers. And he said, "Okay, this is too good to be true for what I gotta do." And they like give us the ingredients, show us how to make it. And Franklin knows it's worth way more than what they're trying to offer him. For revenge and $250,000, that is worth way more than that. So from there, Gustavo runs up to Franklin like, "Yo, man, listen, I saved your life one time. You owe me." And then Franklin pretty much like, "Yo, man, listen, I know you looked out for me, but this I can't do this though, cause this is this is going. This is how I make my bread, by having the best product, pretty much." So he turned him down. So Lucia and Gustavo, their mission was, all right, we gotta go to Plan B. So their Plan B is pretty much to find Franklin's boy, who's been eager to get revenge because it was his cousin who got killed. So they found his boy, found where he lived at. Never shows how that found us, so that was poor writing right there. They show up in the projects in the middle of the night. I mean, not middle of the night, but late night. And go approach Franklin's boy and basically tell him, like, "Yo, we can get you set where you can get your revenge." So, but he doesn't offer him, the $250,000. But what she said is, basically, you could get your own coat. Through me, you could get your own coat, start your own business, be your own boss. You ain't gotta work underneath Franklin. So now this is gonna be a tell of the tape where his loyalties stand. Did he go and tell Franklin what they came and offered him? They tried to backdoor him, or did he keep it to himself, get his revenge, and start his own empire? Now that becomes friction within the camp or whatever. So he's just sitting there listening to her, and then she took her number and then put it in his pocket, and they kind of stepped off from there. Now Lucille and Gustavo is running against Tom. So when Matt and Teddy get back from South America, Panama, they on their way back to the office, and Matt noticed somebody was stalking his house, well, his office rather. So he doesn't know who it is. He don't know if it's a drug cartel, or he don't know who it is. But now as he's driving, he's suspecting it's somebody. He definitely knows somebody telling him, and he's thinking, okay, it's the cops. He's already thinking it's the cops. So he had his brother Matt get the license plate number off of one of the cars, and so he ditches him, and I guess now he's going to find who's after him. So one other part that I failed to mention that happened during it. At the end of the last episode, Gustavo said to Lucille, if you think that Pedro, which is Lucille's cousin, if you think that his girl is the feds or you think she's police, what is he? So it showed a scene where Pedro, which is Lucille's cousin, was talking with his girl, who is the DEA agent, and she's pretty much telling him, like, he's telling her, like, yo, we could have had them. We had them all. Why didn't we just get them arrested? So he's an informant. When Lucille had his father killed, he pretty much linked up with them as an informant so they can lock Lucille up. But the DEA want them all. They want Lucille, they want LaFluza, and they want Lucille's connect, who her connect is. So it's a whole bit cluster of stuff, moving pieces and things going on. But it was a good episode, and I'm glad that they starting to pick it up. It's intriguing to see what's going to happen next. Okay, so but thanks for tuning in. Subscribe and like. Share the video. Small time now, but that's where you got to start somewhere. We're going to grow, building the channel. Till next time, stay tuned.